Welcome to the HOLDO MANEUVER podcast. I'm Marc.
And I'm Mike. We're two hardworking dads trying to immerse ourselves into Star Wars and fit it into our very busy lives.
If this is your first time listening and or watching, in this sometimes short-form Star Wars podcast, we'll share our thoughts on different topics from a galaxy far, far away. So join us as we prepare to execute the HOLDO maneuver. All right,
You gotta go to Arizona, don't you?
Yeah.
He'll be back. Don't worry.
Welcome back to another episode of the HOLDO MANEUVER podcast. This is episode LVII. I believe that's 57. I think. This is for the Ahsoka season finale, part 8, the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord, but there was no Narnia in this episode. This week we have returning guest Andrea from Coach Beard's Book Club.
Hello.
And Aspen Webster.
What's up?
And Kenny Madison from Trek Wars Pod.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Click that subscribe button.
Click that like button.
And Mike was taken over by Dark Magic with a K from the Nightsisters. So we wish him well, and hopefully that he feels better soon. So
I would say, sorry, I know you've got a whole thing, but I would be honored. I would be honored to be possessed and taken over by the Nightsisters. I just need everybody to know.
So you'd want to have your eyes burned out just like Morgan?
I'm into it. Yes!
To be chosen? Yeah. I can understand that. I agree.
Honestly, I think there are people that would pay good money to have their eyes burned out by the Dathomir witches.
It's me. I'm the one.
Yeah, Aspen.
I'm the one.
You're the one.
I will pay money. I would be like, hello.
How many Republic credits?
What's the exchange rate? Couple thousand. Couple thou. Who knows? Probably it's fine. Yeah. I'd be like, what's up? So anyway, he should be so, we could be so lucky as Mike to be.
Yeah. And that's actually a good segue too, because, what cargo did Grand Admiral Thrawn load on his ship for the Great Mothers?
Probably like more troopers, like more zombie stormtroopers.
Oh, you'd think, but he doesn't care about them.
Oh,
so maybe that's not it. I don't know.
It was carry-on luggage and a few checked tags.
Lovely.
I have to press all the buttons. Oh, cool. No, I'm just gonna. Yeah, I got to do all the stuff since Mike's not here.
What to say since Dad's not here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love Mike, but I think in this case, in this friendship, I would be the dad probably.
Like, as in of the two of you, as dads.
Not in a Pedro Pascal,
Daddy.
like
Daddy
vibe way. Yeah, not like that. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stop talking before
No, please continue. I need to know more about Daddy.
We want to hear,
because this is live on the internet, and all the 0 people watching it right now are gonna, clip that.
Hey now.
It's us. We're gonna clip it, and then we're gonna use it as payment to the
people would pay good money to have you call them Daddy.
Poor Marc.
I think you should look into it.
So, speaking of that, I guess what we can do is that we'll go round robin again, like we usually do with talking about the episodes. And even though Mike is not here, he is here because he sent a video clip in of him talking about his thoughts on the episode. It's about 2 minutes. So I guess what we can do is we'll hear Mike's thoughts, and then we'll go with Andrea, then Aspen, then Kenny, and then I'll go last. Just like taking all of your thoughts and process them.
Incredible.
And then, so here's Mike's thoughts on the Ahsoka season series. They don't really kind of give us any leeway of knowing whether it was a season or series finale. What's coming? Is there season 2, or is the movie next, or what's all right. But so here's Mike's thoughts.
Coming from the Shadow Realm.
Hello, thank you for including me this week in my absence. Unfortunately, the fever is kicking my nuts, and I can't be there.
live with y'all. I have some thoughts on this. I've included it in our notes thing, so I'm not going to give too many spoilers in my overall review. I'll let Mark bring them up throughout. But this episode felt like it wasn't a good finale, a good build, a good setup for the next set of this book, I guess you can call it. Because Mandalorian, Ahsoka, and all that, anything Dave Filoni's making, it seems to be all converging towards a big movie. Or something bigger. Not much was wrong with this, in my opinion, in terms of the way the story was told. For the episode, for the series, I would have probably combined episodes like 1 through 3 or 4 into like 1 or 2, and then added a little more meat in the middle instead of the meat up front.
Meat up front.
I really enjoyed this episode from the fights, all the saber battles. It was comical that last week Ezra didn't want a lightsaber, didn't need one anymore. He said he had the Force, that's all he needed. Then this week he's panic building his new lightsaber. So that was a little like, okay, maybe he realized he does need it. I don't know. It kind of sucks. Baylan won't be played by Ray Stevenson moving forward. He did a great job. He stole every scene he was in. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him, unless they're going to just have him be wolves or something. I keep seeing mention of Norse, Viking, something gods that would, when they converge, they could create Ragnarok. Him and Shin are supposedly supposed to be them. Looking forward to where this is building to in terms of movie or other next series, because that's what Dave Filoni seems to have done. Yeah, my notes are throughout. My overall arching comments on this episode was a good finale. It was a good wrap up. I enjoyed this series pretty much throughout. It was kind of laggy at first, but it picked up and saved itself. Definitely worth a watch. Didn't feel I needed to watch Rebels too much. I don't feel I missed out too much based on all the recaps I watched. Mark probably disagrees because of all the questions and dumb shit I've said throughout the review process. But hey, such is life. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for coming out live. Thanks for being here, all the guests. Sorry I couldn't be there, but fever's kicking my ass.
Oh, now it went to the back. So first, I'm gonna razz Mike a bit. We both went to film school, and
hello, thank you for including me this
Mike.
Whoa, he heard you
week in my absence.
Hey, quiet.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be razzed. I'm just gonna haunt you.
Hey, everybody.
I was gonna make fun of him for his framing in that one spot. I was like, we went to film school, Mike. Why are you shooting the shot so it's like this on your face at that? I will forgive him because he has yeah.
You went to film school?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's exciting.
I mean, all it does is give you student loan debt, and then
Listen,
to get a job you could get without getting student loan debt.
Disagree. It gives you valuable social experience that you wouldn't necessarily have otherwise.
Okay.
be nicer to yourself. Marc.
Yes, King, go off.
Okay. But yeah, Mike did also send me, although I think this is just what he just said, because on the notes, yeah, it looks pretty much exact. Yeah, so yeah, the notes he put in our show notes are the same thing. So, but yeah. So going from Mike's thoughts, does anybody agree with anything that Mike said? That they're going to bring up in their own thoughts?
Andrea's like, I don't agree with anything. I think it was all absurd. Right. There's like a couple of things I'll bring up, but yeah, I'll put a little pin in it. Wait for my turn.
I do agree with Mike that some of the things could have definitely been condensed.
Yes, I agree with that.
Me too.
And the Baylan comment too. I liked Baylan a lot. Or Ray. Yeah. I liked Ray a lot as Baylan. Yeah. He was an interesting character.
That's the big one, because like we can get into it, but you could tell that Baylan had that sort of vibe of like, I'm gonna go back and have a real like come back to the beginning, almost like make it so things never happened sort of like vibe to it. You know, who knows what it's actually going to be. And so it's interesting wherever he was going with that character, and then just his gravitas as a person. So it feels like such a bummer. But I'm still into Bangs, so she's got this the ability to that's her name is what I call her, Bangs.
Makes sense.
So she's
Shin Bangs hottie.
Personally, I would like to start the cast Aspen as Baylan Skoll campaign here.
Yep.
Aspen is an accomplished actor. You are an accomplished actor. You're also a smart actor too.
I'm an improviser.
Improvising
Hey,
as acting.
I don't
That is a
memorize.
talent.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I will also take your compliments. I will be bulking up and dyeing my hair white.
And growing
Perfect.
a beard.
Growing a perfect beard. Oh, I'm so into it. I'm just going to be walking around and going, this battle is my own. Or something. Yeah.
And I say maybe I'll shave off half mine. Kenny can shave off half of his, and then we'll send that to you, and then that'll be like one beard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give
And
me
then
the power.
it'll just look like Kenny has a beard if he looks like one way and looks like he's clean shaved.
Sexy.
That's how it'll work.
That's how it works.
And I'll give you my gray hair.
Oh my God,
And
thank you.
There you go.
Oh my God. This is perfect. I'll remove all of my stuff.
Look at the teamwork.
I love this. What a supportive group of people for this reasonable task.
Yes. Did you say a reasonable task?
A reasonable task.
Did now?
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I was gonna be like, that's like a Kenny level pun.
I don't. Nope. Even know how it's up.
In terms of raisin puns, I would personally do something that's a little bit dried out more.
I mean, that is very prunish of you. But yeah, I think as far as for me, I liked the finale to it. But so what we'll do now is that we'll go into like our recap of the episode, to kind of touching on some of the stuff we didn't already talk about, and like touching on some of the things we may have not already covered. But the thing like with the episode, how it like started to is with Morgan getting her kind of reward for helping the Great Mothers, and as we said, I don't think we were live yet at that point, but where Aspen said she would pay money to also have her face burned and to get her reward to become part of the Great Mothers and the Nightsisters.
Turn me into a Nightsister. I'll walk around going, sisters? I get sisters? I can only assume that she got her eyes burned and now she can see many things that mere humans cannot. The end. So yeah, I would like that. I would like to have smudgy face.
It just looked like she'd been crying and all of her mascara had run down her face.
Yeah.
Because as we know, Nightsisters wear a lot of mascara.
Oh yeah, they're out there. They're out there like setting the tone, doing the cool shit.
And when she got the sort of Talzin, right?
Talzin, yeah. That's this Great Mother behind me, Talzin.
I just said to myself, Morgan learned the power of self-respect.
Which power?
Yeah. And then I know Andrea had a few notes like about that scene with her there as well.
That was one of the highlights for me, were the witches. I thought their presence on screen was really great. They were right characters that I love from Rebels. I thought they were well represented in this show. I do wish there was a stronger show of power from them.
Yeah, they're
Like,
very powerful.
We haven't really seen everything they can do. And maybe this wasn't the time to unleash everything, which is understandable. But I mean, the zombie stormtroopers, I think we've all agreed, were pretty badass. And those are from the witches.
But it is a good point that it's like, it's almost like, in like superhero movies when you're like, we could have brought in that super powered person to come in, but I think they would have just like finished it too fast.
Then do that. Then do that. And catapult through the story.
Or alternatively, they are powerful, but they're not that powerful. Like, they're pretty powerful, but like reanimating a whole bunch of corpses takes a lot of power. Could have been, yeah. I mean, like, they got beat in Rebels too. Towson is dead. Like, you know, so there's that.
And they don't have unlimited.
Exactly.
Yeah, so.
Exactly. Can you see how fast, Andrea, I went from being like totally with you to Kenny using it against us? And I was just like, Kenny, get out of my face. This is the only thing. No, it's not the only thing Kenny and I disagree on, but it's causing a lot of riffs.
Oh no.
Kenny, get away from me. I didn't mean to bring it up. Oh my God. I hate that we're doing this. I didn't even mean to. I'm so sorry.
Masterpiece. It's a masterpiece film.
Oh my God. Anyway, I'm with you. I love the witches.
And I love Matrix Resurrections.
Ah.
You know what I liked? Ahsoka's ship rolling low and slow with the hermit crab hobbits.
Now, explain to me. Oh boy, I am going to function as the nitpicker, and hopefully all three of you will team up against me. Why, if they're trying to stop Thrawn, why don't they just warp there and stop them? Why are they protecting the little dudes? Why don't they just go warp and take care of Thrawn now? Like, why not just do that? When time's not on their side, why don't they just do that?
Were they? But I don't know if I agree with you on that. I don't know if they were. Where were they choosing to protect them over?
Well, because they were literally using the ship as a shield for the little dudes.
Oh, as in, like, you're saying they were going at a slower pace than they could have. They could have just taken the ship there, gone straight there, and then done it.
Why not do that?
Because they can't leave the helpless unhelped.
Kenny.
Again, Jedi can't leave the helpless unhelped.
Leave like a can of mace behind. Can of mace window.
I mean, I think it's an interesting. I mean, it's not an interesting question. It's not an interesting question. I don't think it matters.
Next thing, Aspen's going to be like, Matrix Resurrections is a masterpiece. You're right.
I'm gonna be nitpicky back at you. Like, I get it. There's a lot of plot stuff that happens, right, in anything. Just like plot armor protects people, and like,
yeah. How is Luke Skywalker able to pilot an X-wing so expertly and be able to blow up the Death Star? The answer is because the movie needs to happen.
And also, he's a pilot, and he's has been like he's a pilot. He was a pilot on Tatooine. He probably was like got some quick, easy understanding of how to like fly the X-wing, and he was good. I don't need those things explained to me for it to be a good story.
Mm-mm.
Agreed.
And also, when the entire reason for that, well, not the entire reason, it's to also find Ezra. But whenever they're also like, whenever Ahsoka's like, we have to stop Thrawn. We have to stop Thrawn by any means necessary. Yes, so all of this jeopardy. And
sad effects. I was like, is that me? I'm so sorry.
and then your characters are like kind of slowing down. It robs the world's deadliest villain, the galaxy, the universe's deadliest villain of Grand Admiral Thrawn, of real stakes and tension, because they're kind of lollygagging.
Okay, I think I want to like argue with it and be like they didn't know, or I don't know, or if it is for the sake of protecting these guys, I actually do think that's pretty valid, because they're like, what if they come back and hurt them, and they are valuable to us, and we care about them, we love them, and we need to, like Andrea said, keep the innocent safe, and that is valuable too.
Yeah.
I don't
if you
like
throw
that.
them away, then who are you?
If you throw them away, then who are you?
Who are you?
I don't like that though.
Kenny, what do you like?
Oh, God.
A bad
that
movie,
away.
great. Great.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. Crazy that it exists. It's a subversive masterpiece.
Bad.
That also speaks to how to exist in an increasingly terrible hellscape.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do not agree. Do not agree. I'm sorry.
Everyone will be with me
I
in
haven't seen
8
it.
years. Mark.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, you're going to agree with Aspen and Andrea. For sure. For sure.
I don't know. We'll see.
No, you
It's-
will.
It's been sitting over there on my shelf for like a year plus. I just haven't opened it.
You
and
need to
watched
watch it.
It's great.
Oh my
I'll
god.
watch
I
Anyways.
watched it, and I was just like, this must be how people felt whenever they watched Mad Max Fury Road for the first time, because I was electric.
That is how I felt watching Mad Max Fury Road. Actually, speaking of the first time something happens, I know we're doing a recap, Mark, but there's a segue here. Skipping ahead to Sabine, I think there's a bit about she uses the lightsaber a few times. She doesn't have the same skill set that Ezra and Ahsoka have. She's still trying to, and there's that great bit about, again, not to step on anybody's notes, about like it's being a Jedi, or it being like connecting to the Force isn't actually all about lightsabers, which I agree with 100%, and I'm super into as a concept. She does have her moment, her like Sabine moment, where she's like one of the like zombie stormtroopers has her, and her lightsaber is over there, and she gets it with the Force, and that to me, segue point, felt very much like the moment when Luke is in the Wampa cave and finally is able to get the lightsaber to cut himself free. Like, it feels like a real moment that had a lot of work put into it, and it didn't just like it has a depth to it. And I like had a little like yay moment, and it felt like very earned. So.
I agree. That was a good.
This is the way.
That was a good moment, and I think she showed her growth, and she showed and that was just a badass moment. Yeah, like to the point of like just getting it and then turning it on, and it like that was cool.
Oh,
What a
I
great
love
kill.
that move.
What a
I
great
love
kill.
I love a move where you're just holding a lightsaber and then you just turn it on, it stabs someone. I love that move.
That was awesome. I liked it.
Oh, okay, we got something. We got something. Yeah, I just thought of that segue. I know, again, I got us off course, but that was
Lightsabers
pretty
are cool.
great.
Yeah.
Lightsabers, they're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. They don't make a Jedi. They don't make a Star Wars movie, yet they are still pretty cool.
And yeah, I do have that in the notes too. But and I liked because I remembered that like Kanan said almost that verbatim to Ezra. I think like in season 1 of Rebels, where he said, "Having a lightsaber doesn't make you a Jedi." So, and I think it was almost like word for word. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, and the
So-
Kanan references.
Oh yeah,
the
there's a ton
Caleb
of Kanan
Dune.
references. Which, again, not to like jump ahead, but like when Sabine saw like at the very end when she was looking out into like the the night sky, I had thought maybe like she was gonna see a Kanan Force Ghost, and then I was like, well, that's not gonna make sense because she doesn't really. I mean, she kind of had that connection with Kanan, but like if that would have kind of made me like slightly upset, because I was like, if Kanan's gonna show up to anybody as a Force Ghost, it's gonna be Ezra.
Ezra, yeah.
Yeah, or his son Jason,
Sure.
but
Also,
or his kind of like common law wife Hera.
not to get into it, but being a Force Ghost is something you have to practice doing. You don't just get to be a Force Ghost once you die and you're a Jedi. So it's like an art, that they had to discover.
My cousin Ray's a Force Ghost.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Tell me more.
you did it.
I killed them.
Yeah, he just became a Force Ghost. He's cool.
Does
Oh.
he run an occult bookshop in New York City?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it called Ray's Occult?
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
Nice.
they got one.
I'm ready to believe you.
Yeah.
And a point towards the lack of like So you brought up that scene where she's looking out, right? And she's like, I see something. And, Ahsoka turns back and she's like, what do you see? She's like, I see something, right? Then Sabine walks away and then Ahsoka sees it. And Sabine turns around and just looks at her. And like, there wasn't a moment of Sabine being like, what do you see it too? Right? Like almost this, like, I don't know. It was just kind of like they were both like giving each other a moment to stare. And then no one said anything. I'm like, well, I don't know. That just felt so weak. I'm sorry.
I actually feel like, for what it's worth, I have the same feeling about everybody's acting in this show that I think I had about the way Brie Larson played Captain Marvel, where most people are like, not enough, and I was just like, I think she's doing a lot of work. And
Freaking love Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I think Captain Marvel is a very underrated film in the Marvel canon.
Yeah, and that's not to say me bringing that up doesn't, like, I'm sure other folks agree with me too, but I've been kind of coming at it from that perspective where I'm like noticing a lot that's like happening in faces, and so moments like that, maybe even though they don't say it, I can tell that there's maybe a moment of connection. So, but a different kind of story like Rebels is going to have a lot less, like, I hear the points of stoicism for sure. There's a lot more of like, versus like in the original stories, you'd have more of people being like, what's that? Like, and that's adaptation. I'm saying that to Kenny. Get out of my face.
You're right about. I have to agree with you about adaptation. We can't look at it all as. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say some of that is maybe just like the era of acting too, like depending on like because how people would act on screen, say like in different eras of film, I think can be like partly to that too, as far as just because of the different technology that's available to them. So some people they would have had to like way overact like before there was sound, because that's all they can do to act. But then they do get sound, and then they're like, oh wait, I don't really know how to act with this. Like, and if people want to watch a movie about sound becoming on film, you could watch something with Princess Leia's mother, Debbie Reynolds, called "Singing in the Rain." See, I'm tying this back to Star Wars, which is a musical about sound coming into film.
It's a great musical.
It's beautiful. Mark.
Yes.
The other night, I was watching The Shining with my partner. And he was like, I don't know, I don't like how like weirdly wooden people are and kind of how like stoic they are in this film. I think he used those words. Whereas I was coming at it from perspective of like, I fucking love this movie. I think this is great. But I also wonder if there is like, it felt a very 70s era way of acting to me. Is that the kind of thing that you're talking about right now?
Yeah. Because like if you and then if you go from that to like 80s movies, same kind of thing. And we can also segue it from The Shining back to Star Wars, because Dr. Sleep, Ewan McGregor, Star Wars.
It's true.
It's amazing.
Hello there.
Magical.
Also, The Shining is in Ready Player One. There's Star Wars stuff in Ready Player One. Steven Spielberg directed a scene in Revenge of the Sith. So.
Yeah. He's the director. Isn't he who like Lucas kept referring to like during when he was making the prequels? He would like always be like chatting with Spielberg, and he'd be like, "The director says," and everyone's like, "You're the director."
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
I want, before I forget to, Mike had a joke about what the name of the hermit crab, hobbits, or Jermaine told us. Then did you write that, Andrea? Or is that Mike?
No, I was the one that wrote that those little crabs were the Ewoks. Or like I was saying, are these the Ewoks of...
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jermaine told us last week what the name was, but I forgot already.
It is in here, yeah.
Oh, I think that's a joke that Mike's saying, because he's calling them E-Rocks.
E-Rocks.
Like instead of Ewoks. Even though he's supplying the dad jokes as well. So yeah.
Perfection.
And we kind of touched on it, but with talking about the lightsabers, but I did like that Ezra was building a new saber here, and I didn't even think about it until Mike said it, but it is kind of interesting. Like last week, I was like, "Oh, I don't need a lightsaber," and then this week he's like, maybe he just thought it would be better to have one too, in addition to using the Force this week. Now that they had a little bit of time,
he didn't have a lightsaber, so he had to practice not
Yeah.
having a lightsaber and perfect those skills, and now he has access to lightsaber stuff. So he's like, I'm gonna make a lightsaber. He's chill. He literally ends up in a ship where like there's the actual droid that helps
Yeah.
everybody make their lightsabers. He's like, time to do it.
And if people have played the Jedi Fallen Order or Survivor games, that's like that whole setup right there felt very reminiscent of like how you can like modify your lightsaber as Cal Kestis in those games. It's like you have like a whole like work table there to do like all the different modifications to it and stuff. So that was almost like what Ezra was doing. And I liked that, of course, Hu Yang kept. There was only apparently 2 of those parts of the blade emitters for hilts. One, and Kanan got one, and Hu Yang kept the other one just in case Kanan never needed a backup for it.
It's so nice.
I like to how Hu Yang found out that Ezra was Kanan's Padawan, and I thought that scene was kind of interesting too, because you could kind of see like how that was making Sabine feel in a way, with like because it was making her reminisce, or like at least think back to like Kanan and Ezra's Padawan master relationship, and then like kind of like how her and Ahsoka has gone, which when they get to their kind of tete-a-tete like on top of the ship shortly thereafter, like Ahsoka says that she'll like stick with her no matter what. I think that's, I mean, obviously that's what kind of ultimately makes her decision later on in the episode to not also, even though like her whole mission like this full season was to go get Ezra, to bring him back and go with him, when she had the opportunity to jump and like have him help her, which I liked that whole idea of like jumping enough and then getting the push, the force push to like basically like double jump in a way. And then, like, he would have done the same thing for her. But then she just chooses to stay with Ahsoka and help her, because otherwise she probably figures that Ahsoka probably would have died if she didn't stay there. So
well, she chose her. She chose to be with her.
Yeah.
'Cause I see Kenny's face. Like, she chose...
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is part of that arc of Ahsoka and Sabine, obviously, of, like, what does it truly mean? And this is something I'm constantly thinking about, because I think the whole Jedi Order is stupid, and like it like you could very reasonably, like, let's take an example from Clone Wars, where literally masters were saying like, okay, like it's like Barriss, like I remember when Barriss and Ahsoka were buried under that building, and Luminara was just like to Anakin, just like, you gotta let him go, am I right? Like, it's all about like not like holding on to things, and that is damaging. That's not how we're gonna. It's like
what I said about feelings earlier.
That it's about
people with their emotions. It's good.
Yeah, it's about loving each other and believing each other, and it's like it's almost like by letting go of not the burden, or like of like integrating these different parts. It's like the actual integration of like dark and light, right? Like you're integrating different parts into the whole, that it's not so binary. Like Ahsoka is able to extend like love and this connection, and then Sabine responds in kind, and she wants to be with her to support her, and it is a fabulous moment. The Jedi don't need therapy, except they're all murdered. So everybody who's left needs some good trauma therapy work. Yeah.
They need some inner child work.
Oh my God, because all of them were taken as little bebés.
As little children, yeah.
Some of them are
their inner child.
Some of them were raised to be child soldiers. So there's a lot in there. Kenny. So a lot of the choices I feel like people made in this episode flowed really well from things that had been set up. Like, that did make sense. You could kind of see these different like moves that they would make emotionally.
Yeah. The other, no, I don't know who put this, but someone said one thing I kept wondering is if the term Jedi has lost its meaning. Who is that? Any of you, or is that Mike?
I don't remember that. I didn't say that.
All right. So he wrote one. If that was Mike, it was so. One thing I keep wondering is if the term Jedi has lost its meaning or been redefined. Because to me, now it's more of religion, a construct of rules you follow. It has little to do with the Force, other than use it for good. Maybe Ahsoka will officially redefine what Jedi are.
Yeah. I mean, feels like she already is, right? Again, even by like the connection of like I'm gonna be the one, like almost like taking the lessons of Anakin and using it for good. Like I feel like that's already taking the idea of Jedi and making it loads better.
I honestly think that it's more powerful whenever she is labeled as a ronin, as opposed to her constant labeling of being a Jedi or whatever the other term that was used earlier in the season, because Jedi is such a laden term, especially now. And if the thing that we love about Ahsoka Tano is trying to grow past what the Jedi are, I would really prefer a relabeling completely.
I don't disagree. In the first episode, I kept being like, "Stop calling her a Jedi. She's not a Jedi." She actively was like, "I'm not a Jedi." So,
Yeah.
and it's come up a couple times, but it almost feels like for the sake of just like ease, that's the term. It keeps getting used, and I would have liked a real total like, push it
Bakken
away.
Jedi.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Or like an actual Star Wars in-universe term for a Ronin. Something. Yeah.
Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
why not just use the term Ronin? That's fine with me.
And like as much as I loved Huang, like great shout out to David Tennant. But like why would she be hanging out with this like totally pro Jedi, like by the book? You know what I don't know. Like why was she hanging out with him?
The only thing I could think was, well, because I mean that's like her, like literally like her only connection that's left or alive.
Yeah,
at
that's
this point,
true. That's true.
Because Obi-Wan would be gone at this point. Anakin is gone.
You're right.
Her
You gotta
only
have
friend.
friends.
She's like, I just need one friend.
He's like a walking audiobook too. You can tell her the history of the galaxy, part 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Part 1's the best, obviously.
He can reenact Doctor Who for her.
Yep.
He did arrive in canon within the Star Wars universe. In the books, he did arrive in a big blue box.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. I kind of love that.
It's like every time there's a Doctor Who reference in Good Omens, you're just like, this is nice. I'm having a nice time.
There is a story, very high expectations.
That is actually,
Loved
I don't know
it.
about you,
Good
Matt.
Omens?
Yeah.
The Sandman. The
Yeah.
Sandman could not have had higher expectations in my heart. Blew it out of the park.
We got a Neil
Beautiful.
Gaiman fan. Yes. Yes. Yeah, actually, weirdly, that's another one where like I feel so strongly about Neil Gaiman stuff, but I'm a little bit like, who knows? Could be fine. And then when it is good, I'm like, yes.
Like I was
And
terrified
I-
to watch Sandman. I was terrified.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when
what a
Matt
little-
Smith was going to be in Rise of Skywalker at one point?
I had no idea. What?
Yeah. And I think all his stuff got cut out because I believe that, I don't want to go too much of a tangent with this, but like he was originally going to be in the Colin Trevorrow version of the movie, where Palpatine was still going to come back,
Palpatine's behind it all.
but Matt Smith would have been like this cloned, like younger version of Palpatine that would have been.
I don't remember Palpatine in that script.
Somehow he returned.
Aspen, have you read the Duel of the Fates yet?
No.
You gotta read it.
No.
Okay.
Which I know none of you are on this last week, but I did like when Sabine was recapping the original trilogy to Ezra, and he's like, "Oh, the Emperor was killed." That's what people say. I was like, "Ah."
I hated that.
I was like, all right, okay. All right. I was like, all right.
As someone who doesn't think of Rise of Skywalker as canon, I hate every reference to it.
Yeah, and oh yeah, this is. We gotta get to where. Look, we gotta get to the end of this episode because it's going to lead to my consternation and my even greater fears of what the Filoniverse is going to do.
Should we just fast forward?
No, it's
Should we-
March.
well,
it's
I
it's
have
March.
one-
Oh,
I-
sorry. It's March.
Can I
20th, sorry.
can I make one last comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
I need to tell you all about my crush on Hera. Like my ever-growing crush on Hera. I love her. I'm in love.
Is it like this version of Hera or Hera all the time?
This version of her.
What if she started speaking in a French accent? What would happen for you?
Ooh la la. Ooh la
La
la.
la.
Zut
Oh,
alors,
mais oui.
Yes.
je suis ananas.
Her big honking tentacles turn into baguettes.
Twi'leks have French accents, canonically, Kenny. They do. I'm not even lying.
I believe you. You know more about Star Wars than I do. Anytime you have any lore burgers, I'll agree with you. I just know that you're right. Yeah, I'm into tentacle stuff. I poo poo and pee pee, and I want you to bring back jizz music. All right.
This is good. Kenny deserves this. Yeah. Cool. Agreed. Agreed with Andrea.
I can move through some of this stuff fast for you guys though too.
Mark, honey, this is your podcast. You move exactly how you want to. You go off, Silent King.
Mark, honey, don't let us tell you what to do. We're not the boss of you.
I was just gonna say I liked Ezra and Ahsoka holding up the ship after the TIE attack. I liked them working together with that. Mike had a note of. Oh, go ahead.
I like Ezra's beard, and I also really like that. I really like that actor in that role.
It's good.
It does feel like he's being asked to tamp down his charisma as well, but he's given me more of what I want from the show.
And his piercing blue eyes that are hypnotizing like the Hypnotoad, Kenny.
I'm so bewildered by it. If you're going to give a guy contacts, make them match the actual characters. Make them violet. That's my weird nitpick.
This is a different timeline. The Rebels timeline, he has violet eyes, but because this is blue contacts, you have to assume different timeline.
It's such a dumb thing for me, but I was just like, well, if you're already going to give him contacts, why not give him the right contacts? It's not like you got a tiny little Harry Potter Daniel Radcliffe and you like can't wear contacts at all, you know what I mean? Why do I keep talking about Harry Potter? Ugh. Used to love it. We don't like turfs here. Anyway, go on.
I was going to say I liked how, because I wanted to bring this specifically because of the name of the podcast, was that Sabine kind of pulling a HOLDO maneuver light with the TIE fighters by driving it through both those TIE fighters. And then I liked how like she just kind of like was walking away from like the downship to like took care of it.
I did it. And Ahsoka looked pleased by that. She was like, great job.
Gentle spaceship crashes that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That was great. That was great.
Oh, and then with Sabine, so yeah, when they're also riding what I call the rat wolves to like the front door, I was
You call them
asking-
rat wolves?
Yeah.
Sorry, I call them bat cat dogs. I love
I
it.
remember when they first showed up, like way off in the distance. I thought they were like Loth wolves, which I was like, that won't make sense though because they're not Lothal. But
I just love that other people are like, what are the other weird animals this thing is?
it's just amalgamations. I asked because like Ahsoka's like Sabine, help out. I was like, was Sabine actually helping out here with the Force to open the gate, or was she like that fourth or fifth person that's like helping to lift something up but barely use the effort to like exert themselves when helping to lift it up because like everyone else is already
Yeah,
putting
you're like,
all that strength into.
like, Kenny, are you helping? You're like, oh yeah, I'm totally helping. It's so heavy.
I just think everyone's doing a great job. If we can just do a little bit more. I mean, like eating a burger with one of my other hands.
You're like, my right arm is so strong.
I am lazy. That's true.
Yeah. But that does feel really like you could be like, is she actually helping? And then later when she does have this lightsaber come to her and she is able to help like with Ezra's force jumps, you are like, yes, my girl, you're doing it. So
Yeah. And then when the three of them make it through the door, I really liked this whole scene here with like all the three of them working together, like in their three kind of different styles. Like Ahsoka's, double bladed, kind of more samurai-esque fight style. Ezra's, kind of mix of using like the force, like the force pushes and whatnot, and a saber, and then Sabine's kind of Mando Jedi stuff where she's using all of her tools of her trade together. Sabine is walking as a Mando turned Jedi so that Grogu can run as a Jedi turned Mando.
That's right.
Because we all know how funny it looks when Grogu walks, so imagine what it's going to look like when he runs. Like his little Kermit feet. Yeah.
I love it.
And then, I know you had a note about that scene too, Andrea.
I did. What did I say?
You said this was one of my favorite fight scenes this season.
That was one of my favorite fight scenes. Yeah. I'm gonna admit something that's probably gonna anger people, and I apologize, Aspen.
it's
The
fine.
last episode, I fast forwarded over a lot of the fights in this finale episode. I thought the fights were all magnificent.
I'm
Well,
also
thank you.
not typically a fight person, and so I'm not. Yeah, I'm not mad. Yeah, agreed.
And then, see, this is why I was questioning if this was Mike, because this doesn't seem like stuff Mike would type. One of my favorite saber battles now, so aesthetically pleasing. I think that was Kenny.
Kenny, I didn't write any notes either. I have them all right here in my little brain.
Yeah, I find all of the fights. I find all of the fights in Ahsoka completely lacking in tension, and that's
what aesthetically pleasing means.
That's not what aesthetically pleasing
Yeah.
means at all.
It's like tempting to tamp.
No, that's not what that means at all, Mark. No, that's not what that means. Aesthetically pleasing in bad are the opposites. One is liking it, the other one is not liking it. And I didn't like any of the fights because they meant nothing. Though it was cool whenever they were fighting the lightsaber and the one sword. That was cool. That's it. That's all I'm gonna. And also the zombie stormtroopers. That was pretty cool.
Sorry. I know we're like going through this. I was thinking this. Kenny is aesthetically pleasing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was thinking back to a lot of, with the force jumps, I was thinking back to what Jedi are able to do and how Jedi are so powerful and like force builders are so, thank you, I am aesthetically pleasing, powerful that things that, I remember there was a moment in The Mandalorian where there were some like super war droids and they were like, these droids are going to actually kill us. And I remember thinking about how like in Clone Wars, when they were faced with those droids, they were like, this is a little annoying, but we got this. It's fine. We're going to like figure it out because like their power is so great. Right. And I do wonder what that does to like fights in terms of the, like what the stakes are. And what that means. And I was trying to think of like things that I watched recently where I felt truly afraid during a fight that like someone would die or something bad would truly happen to them. And like, not to keep going, but we watched Dr. Sleep after The Shining. I know this isn't about Dr. Sleep or The Shining, and I thought it was fine. I felt no fear that anybody would get hurt ever. And I was like, wow, what's going on?
I don't think the stakes of a fight scene, Mark, honey, you're a hottie. You're a hottie with a body.
Shin
I don't think fight scenes necessarily need to have stakes that are related to life and death every single time, but I do think that there needs to be some sort of emotional content that is
Sure.
involved within each one of them, which is why so many superhero third acts fall so short, because they're ultimately just kind of filling up time, as opposed to the example that comes to mind is the George Powell War of the Worlds, where if you're breaking it down to Sid Field 3-act type structures, that third act is freaking less than 5 minutes long. Because the function of it is just achieving your emotional catharsis and coming to the resolution of the story. And I find that the fights in these things are just lacking in emotional content. And I compare that to The Force Awakens, a movie that I pretty much don't like. But that lightsaber fight is so good because it is so emotionally
That's true.
charged. It is one of my favorite lightsaber fights, period, because it is so emotionally charged.
I'm with you. Yeah, I don't want to just like, this is why I too would fast forward or like look at my phone during a fight scene, because I'm like, unless it has a reason to be here, I can tell you're just doing this for the action. It's like when you're watching a film, and in Force Awakens, you know, that whole bit with like the creatures getting free on like Han's ship when they find Han. Like Jenny Nicholson, who I was like a great YouTuber, and like she like talks about like those are moments where she's like, time to go get more popcorn. So and if it doesn't like actually, if it's like, what is it for? Like, and you know, so
Yeah.
Also, there's a part in Force Awakens where Kylo Ren's just like, he's hitting himself, and it's such a great actorly touch.
Yeah.
Maybe
good.
Force Awakens is the best Star Wars movie of all time.
Kenny literally just said he hates it.
Yeah, I don't like it.
You need to take that back.
I don't like it, but the stuff that I do like really, really works, which is the first 30 minutes. Fight scene, and anytime Adam Driver's on screen.
He just had some good soups. That's why he's punching himself in the gut. And speaking of things that are good, I really liked Kevin Kiner's score again in this episode. I thought it was doing a really good job at like setting the mood as like the Night Sisters are bringing like the troopers back from the dead and making them their own green fart clouds and armor. We had with that character that everybody thought was going to be like Dark Side Ezra earlier in the season, or all these other weird theories that of what Marc was going to be, like he was going to be Star Killer from the Force Unleashed video games, or somebody. No, he's just a green fart cloud.
I did love that, because I wasn't aware that I was supposed to think that that was anyone until I saw that there was a discourse. And I was like, oh, am I supposed to think that that's someone? The show doesn't seem to want me to think that that's someone.
Yeah.
And then whenever it turned out to be no one, I was just like, okay, I was right.
I didn't think it was anyone.
I was like, oh, well, it's just a guy.
But because Star Wars fandom can be broken sometimes, so, everyone, they're just like, no, there's a secret. Everyone is secret. No one is who they are. Everyone is secret. And everyone is Kenobi's grandson.
Bangs is Captain Phasma. I saw that and I was like, get out of here. She is too short. She's a fully grown woman. But, yeah. It's very silly.
Hey, only Satine does that.
For an audio, like from an audio perspective, that's not going to make any sense. We will not clarify. That's good. Oh, remember Satine and Obi-Wan? Anyway.
Remember how Satine is related to Sabine?
Yeah. And Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
They're cousins. Satine and Sabine are cousins, and Satine and Bo-Katan are sisters, and Satine and Obi-Wan were in LVII. And she dies. So, it's devastating. The end.
But
Anyway, please, Mark, it's your podcast.
but yeah, in this too, I was like, why aren't I was like, you guys got to just chop off their heads with your lightsaber. Just Aim for the head.
So are the zombie stormtroopers? They're new. We've never seen them before.
The Nightsisters reanimate things.
Yeah,
Like-
there was zombies in Clone Wars.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
And
trying to
then-
think.
I know in
Zombie
expanded universe
bugs.
books there was also like I didn't read these books, but I've read things about stuff that happened in those books.
page
those
turners
books,
they were
Andrea?
not.
Oh, okay, Yoda. They're coming to get you now too.
No.
Yeah, this is what it was. Yeah, the Nightsister. That's right. They channel magical Ecor through a crystal orb to reanimate the mummies to defend their still living brethren. That's right. Yeah. So Nightsisters have brought people back to life before. So I thought they had. There's another Clone Wars episode where the bugs, the bug species or whatever, they also are like weirdly like there are reanimated zombie bugs, and it rules. Saw Gerrera's in that one, and it is out of control. People should watch
yeah.
Clone Wars.
Aspen,
yeah,
do your Saw
Geonosis.
Gerrera impression.
Wait, what's the thing he says? We must fight in the most extreme way. My sister died, and I've never let it go.
Lies, deception.
That's my impression of Saw Gerrera. Yeah. Cool.
And scene.
Thank you so much.
Andrea had to know that she loved the zombie stormtroopers. Mike wrote that he could hear George Romero screaming at them. And then, like the scene here with like Thrawn asking Morgan to stay behind to give them more time to depart from the planet, basically asking her to stay to, I guess, die. She says for Dathomir, which I thought was interesting with that. And then Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine coming up upon Morgan. Sabine wants them to stick together finally and not split up, which was what caused this whole thing with them getting split up in the first place earlier in the season. Ahsoka tells her to go stop Thrawn, and then we get the Morgan versus Ahsoka match, which is Morgan versus Ahsoka round 2, because round 1
Another great fight.
was in the Mando. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I like.
That's right.
Her first live action performance. But Andrea, you had to know about the scene too. You just said that it was
Another great, like, again, like the fights in this episode were great.
I got
found them
really-
compelling to watch.
I was very devastated by the loss of one of Ahsoka's lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I know,
yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I felt
I
like
have a-
being stabbed.
I have a joke about that later. We'll get to that. Ezra Sabine versus the Death Troopers, I liked a lot. And you can kind of see like some of like the zombie. Like I was like, did they decay this quickly, or were they already like dead bodies that have been reanimated before? Because like their like face was already like super effed up.
It's the Force.
They've been reanimated so many times.
It's that magic with a K.
It's the Force.
It's not the Force. It's
It's
not
the
the Force.
Force.
Kenny, it's not the Force.
The Force
Magic
is
with
in
a-
all living things.
Kenny,
It surrounds us
They're not living.
and
Okay.
penetrates us, but
It's-
binds us together.
it's the Nightsister Magick.
I didn't like Thrawn, though.
Kenny Madison. I don't like you. That's a lie. I like you so much. I like you so much. I don't even want to know why. It's fine.
Thrawn wasn't compelling on screen, other than
Ant-
the blue and the
Andrea?
red.
Andrea, you're compelling, but I'm still mad.
You know what I thought was cool too is that we finally got that shot of Thrawn that has been in every single trailer for the show for like the past 6 months or to a year. I was like, so that shot of Thrawn was from like what, the last 20 minutes of the finale, and they put it in the trailers. And it's like on like a very recognizable set from the show too. So like everyone was always like, oh, he's gonna eventually be on the Eye of Sion at some point. And I think that was like the first clip of that, like in one of the first, I think in that trailer episode that you were on, Aspen. That was the shot of Thrawn, was that back shot of him walking like away from the camera. It was that shot. So,
So
why do they
weird.
I don't know. I don't like when they put stuff from like the last 15 minutes of a movie or a TV show in a teaser trailer for something like 7 months before it comes out.
But
anyway,
but you're not the boss of them.
yeah.
You
But
don't
I did
pay them bi-weekly.
I did like that we finally got the payoff to Sabine using the Force to grab her saber, like we've already kind of discussed, because that was always kind of getting telegraphed that like that was going to pay off. You know, like whether it's a lingering shot of the cup, or like her going to use the Force while she was in the cell and like the room shaking, nothing happens, and then finally we get it in this one. But I know we've already kind of talked about that, so we can move on from there. And then Ezra finally goes for the head, cuts one off. And then Ezra and Sabine, we kind of talked about this a little bit, with working together to force jump push from the tower to the Star Destroyer, basically doing a forced double jump. And I had, when I watched it the second time after watching it the first time, I liked how the closed captions just all in caps said the Force theme plays.
It does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of brass happening at a certain point. I was just like, I love that. It's great. Music makes me emotional, so. And I'm the only one. No one else experiences that.
Oh,
That's what music does.
Yes.
oh. And then, so you said Morgan sliced one of Ahsoka's sabers in half. And I wrote, and soon Ahsoka will return the favor to Morgan, cutting her in half as well.
But
I'm too
Beautiful.
far away from the soundboard right now, so I'm not going to go away. But I liked Andrea left a note of the sound effect there. Although you had notes about that scene though too.
I don't want to keep. I don't know. Like that bothered me. I don't know why. It just bothered me, and I have no reason. Just that's why I don't want to say it, because I have nothing to back that statement up. Just me whining.
She'll have to make a new saber though, I guess, because that's like 2 sabers is her whole
We'll
thing.
have to, yes. Yeah.
Well, it is now her whole thing. When she was younger, she only did 1 twice, and then went on to 2.
Yes.
And then what I really liked here was Sabine and Ahsoka pulling a Back to the Future Part 2 and jumping at Hopper's ship as Hu Yang, a Time Lord, is in the Doc Brown role.
Oh la la!
Nice.
You thought you were only going to get 1 Back to the Future reference in this episode, but no, you got 2.
I out loud went, I love it when this happens.
Yeah.
I love it when that happens.
It is fun to watch people get on top of spaceships while spaceships are flying. That is a visceral thrill.
I love it. They're like, they jump and you're like, oh no. And then they're like, and you're like, oh yeah.
I did
Applause.
not enjoy it, but that's okay.
Sorry. Screen Crush in one of their Easter egg videos, I thought was funny because they showed that scene, and they played the Back to the Future score underneath it from that scene from Back to the Future Part 2, and it works. So I'm assuming you can probably already find that scene multiple places on YouTube Shorts or TikTok or any of the place that the youths are hanging out watching these shorts and stuff.
Threads,
yeah. No.
Threads.
Not threads. Definitely not on X or yeah. So and then so they attempt to make their way to tag along to get back to their own galaxy with Thrawn. Thrawn, I believe this is where he's talking to Ahsoka over things. So I knew you because I knew your master, perhaps. This is where a ronin such as you belongs. Kind of talked about it already. And then this is the part of the episode that I know where Aspen screamed or made some kind of sound at the screen, which is when Morai showed up there, just off in back in the distance, chilling out and then flying away. So Aspen.
Mostly I just went Morai. Oh do. That's what I did. Does that happen before? Oh, that happens right before the like Baylan hanging out on those ruins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So before Return of the King ending to the episode.
Yeah, because there's like the Shen piece coming back. Yeah.
Did the Fantastic Mr. Fox wolf on top of the hill to the samurai Tusken Raiders there. Which
And then
I'm not sure what that was, that like, other than, I mean, I guess it looks cool, but I was like, what is that, just like her saying that she's like joining them?
I don't. Yeah, it must be right. Like it's her being like, "Yep, I'll be one of you," because like I am abandoned, effectively. So it's like her going her way, and then Baylan. And I think I don't want to. I know other folks like like Andrea, you called out when it's like standing on those ruins. Those are
It's that painting.
it's the painting. It's the Mortis stuff. It's the father and it's the son, like the son and the daughter. But the daughter is not there, and so I like immediately it was just like Morai, and then also Mortis stuff, which I like.
And so right, like so is Ahsoka and Sabine being left there? Are they going to explore? You know, like, are they going to find that? And
where
Ezra's now with Hera. And his, doing his thing, and now Ahsoka and Sabine are gonna check that out.
I want that to be true. Like, I want it to be like they're getting back to the core. Like, I think that kind of lore stuff is very interesting.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
I feel like Baylan he clearly has this thing where he's not trying to be part of whatever the battle is right now. He wants to get to something beyond it, and it must have to do with these Mortis gods. And I'm curious, as Ahsoka basically has like the power of the daughter in her and has like Morai, like keeping her safe, like what that means. So I would love for that to be part of it. I want to see where that goes. So,
and I also like another Lord of the Rings kind of thing. There's like off on that mountainscape, he sees like there's like some kind of like beacon or some kind of light that's like the beacons have been lit. Yeah, I didn't notice it the first time I watched it, but then like I saw it, so I'm wondering like whatever the heck that beacon of light that's coming out of the mountain way off in the middle distance is meant to be.
Gondor.
So, yeah, maybe. Sean Bean's just hanging out over there. Mike also thinks this is maybe like because of like. Because I've sent him plenty of stuff. He's thinking because of the Mortis stuff being there that maybe there's some kind of world between worlds portal thing here where they'll be able to leave Peridia to make it back to their own galaxy at some point. But
are the Dathomir witches not native to this planet?
They're native to Dathomir?
Where's Dathomir?
In the Star Wars galaxy.
Okay, so they have nothing to do with this random planet.
They do. I think this is where they originated. And then they ended up, and I think that was in the show that they said that they originated here. This is like their ancestral planet. And then they ended up on Dathomir.
Okay.
You know,
Kenny
like
is so
men
bored.
are from Mars and women are from Venus, and then we came to Earth.
It's all very daunting because there's no emotion attached to any of the lore for me.
That's interesting. That's true. I feel deeply like I loved the
Also,
Mortis arc. Yeah.
Look, I paying attention to the discourse yesterday. Yesterday was the 15-year anniversary of Clone Wars.
And 9-year anniversary of Rebels.
So, I think that we need a good, clean repilot, helping folks like me get on board without having to watch recap videos.
Listen, Kenny, I know you're feeling left out. And I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
There's let me see if I can find it for you, Kenny. There is a list of which episodes of Clone Wars to watch that matter.
Well, Kenny and I are going to be on our podcast. We're
yeah.
going through all of the Clone Wars episodes. It will take a very long time, though, so it probably should be.
Yeah, much longer than the Star Trek contingent part of it. So excited for Aspen to watch Code of Honor.
What?
What you guys might have to do when you get to Clone Wars is maybe watch it in the arcs and watch the arcs in relation to.
No, Silent King. We watch it in chronological release order, baby.
It's true. It's true.
What if they were all released on the same day?
What if in some world?
I mean, when you get to season 6, that season was all released on the same day because it was dropped on Netflix.
We'll figure it out then.
So good luck with that one. Go ahead.
Mark,
Yes.
I know this is your podcast.
This is your podcast.
But I do have to tell you something.
Silent King.
I gotta go sleep soon.
Oh, we're almost here at the end.
Aspen's a honk shoe sleepy time king.
Yeah. So
Also, I know that I'm the one who keeps interjecting, so I'm the problem here.
Tell me why Thrawn is great. Here
No,
we go.
Mark, you finish. You do you, King.
So Ezra shows back up on the ship, which I thought was kind of funny because I was like, oh, they saw him land and everything on the ship, and then like they get all weird, like they're like, oh, who's this guy getting up? I was like, every other Star Wars movie, they've like checked codes and stuff to let people land on their ships, and like he just landed in there, and then they're going to check to make sure he's okay, which I guess kind of shows like how messed up the New Republic is right now, because they're just like all this kind of stuff's all whatever. I did like that Chopper here can tell that it's him. Like Chopper's almost like a dog in a way in the scene.
Chopper's perfect.
Yeah.
He's like, I know who this guy is. I'm a war criminal, but I'm also a dog, and I like Ezra, and I can smell who that is.
Chopper was perfection.
Yes.
The best characters on this series was Chopper, Huang, Lothcat.
Who's taking care?
Who's taking care of the Lothcat? I am.
That's
Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown's character. Come here, Lothcat. I didn't like that scene. I didn't like the scene of Ezra returning home because it was the most tension that the show has had since the first episode. And it doesn't make sense because the audience knows that it's Ezra, but for some reason, the filmmaking language is telling us we don't know who this is. We know it's Ezra. The pieces have been put in place that we know that it's Ezra, but for some reason, they are shooting it in a way that is trying to suggest that this might not be Ezra. And then it turns out to be Ezra. So why have that tension? And then you couple that with the fact that the reaction is not laden with any emotion whatsoever. Not even a little bit bittersweet, which I would understand. And I think that they're kind of almost doing that emotion. But it's just kind of a hi Hera, I'm home. And that would be a lovely tragic note, but it's not played that way. It's just kind of played so matter-of-factly, except for the fact that they play it for real tension. It's infuriating because where was that tension in literally any of the... Oh, gosh.
They played that so that I could stare longingly at Hera for a good minute.
Yeah.
I could admire her. I could admire my lady crush.
Kenny was for Andrea, did you hear?
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that they thought that you would think it was really a dark trooper.
also,
I know that, but the filmmaking, the shots. We've seen that shot in a billion different other things. We're copying that. I know how they're playing it because that's what they're wanting us to feel.
I don't know. I went Lambda, and then I went, oh, it's Ezra.
Lambda?
Yeah.
Lambda?
Yeah.
Lambda?
Yeah.
Oh,
Very good.
It didn't bother me so much, but I hear you.
And also, it's indicative of the fact whenever Sabine and Ezra reunited, and it was kind of met with a friend hug. The show's completely devoid of information. I'll
That
flip this
scene.
computer
Oh my
over.
god! Don't get me started. Oh hey, I thought you've been dead but hey, cool. You want to go get lunch?
Literally, you travel to another universe.
I thought you were
and
dead,
you
and
do
I love you. But
the
hey,
equivalent
let's go
of
grab
whenever
some
I
lunch.
see my old college roommate.
Hey, Mark, you wanna keep talking about the end?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say that scene with Hera and Ezra made me tear up.
Again, Hera.
And also, yeah, I was gonna say also, Mary Elizabeth Winstead there as Hera. I'll say I agree with like when Sabine met with. So each time somebody else reunited with Ezra, it was a higher level of emotion each time. So Sabine still kind of like a weird reunion. Yeah. Oh. And then like Ahsoka like hugging him and like smiling and laughing when she saw him, which was the first time they saw each other since they were running out of the world between worlds in Rebels. And then because like since Hera's essentially Ezra's more or less like adoptive mom, it was essentially like a mom seeing their son again that she pretty
got
much
teary.
assumed, yeah, was like dead. Yeah, like you could tell. Like I thought that was done well there. So I liked that, and I thought definitely of the characters that had connections with. I'm sure Chopper was crying too.
Yeah.
But
100%.
of all the characters that do have a connection to Ezra, I think that one was like the most powerful kind of reunion with that. And I did like the shot here, like where it was like a match star wipe too, where like Ezra's walking across the scene, and as he's walking, it cuts to the shot of Sabine walking and like almost matching perfectly to that. I just thought that was like a cool like visual thing there. Essentially showing how they've kind of swapped places there.
Well, I think you're cool, Mark.
Well, thank you.
I agree.
Thanks. And then we cut to Ahsoka and Sabine looking out the sky. Sabine says, "I felt like just shadows in the starlight." And then again in the closed captions, hopeful music playing.
The end music was beautiful. Like it like went into the credits as well, and I just sat and listened, and I was like, "This is nice." I was like, out loud. I was like, "It's a beautiful piece of music." I loved it. The captions got it right. The captions were like, "Aspen loves this music." So
Yeah,
it said on mine. It was so weird.
I thought that was weird.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then we see us seeing Force Ghost Anakin here.
That's what made me cry.
Yeah.
I cried.
And then that's the end of the episode. So I'll let everyone kind of say whatever their other thoughts of that ending work. I know Andrea had some notes about that. I don't know if we've already covered all of them. If we did, good. If not,
Just kind of like I admit when I first saw that I was kind of angry, but then as I started thinking about it, I just like again I just felt like they were using the Anakin flashbacks to create emotion because of our like the emotion was created by us wanting to see Anakin and us the emotions we have towards these characters, but they're not actually showing us any emotion. So I was really annoyed when he appeared. And then I started thinking about it and I said, okay, I liked the things in the world between worlds. I loved all that. I thought that was beautiful, the way they put that together. We could have skipped her using the training video. I thought that was a gratuitous extra shot of Anakin and then have this at the end.
Anakin Skywalker all the time, all the
I
screen time.
love Anakin.
Just walking as a Force ghost, not even saying anything, just walking next to Ahsoka. Yeah, good.
Okay, honest question for you, Mark.
Yes.
You find out that this person that was training you that you cared about became Lord Vader, killed everyone you love. You're gonna watch your training video of him?
Mark's like, sure, what?
You're gonna rewatch the training video you have with him.
Fun fact, my old boss was a Zodiac killer, and we had great conversations, and I love him so much.
I mean, come on now.
Hold on.
Mark's pulling up a hologram of his old boss.
I am very
He's
excited
calling
for
Hayden
this.
Christensen.
I'm very excited for this sassy Marc that we've got almost 2 hours in.
Yeah.
Keep talking first, though. I need to find it really quick.
Okay. What else can I say? Because I thought that the World Between Worlds stuff was great because there was this conflict that she was even seeing the conflict with him. She was struggling with the conflict. All of that made sense to me. The training video wasn't off for me. Like why would she be revisiting that with all the pain he has caused her? And then the Force Ghost at the end, in hindsight, does make sense because yes, right, he's gone. He's a Force Ghost now. Like I like that journey for him. Like right, he died realizing the mistakes he made, and for him to come back in that form, I think actually makes sense. So I would take out the training video scene. That felt the least genuine to me.
Not here to talk us out of anything. I do think that it's not the first time he showed up as a Force Ghost. He shows up at the end of Return of the Jedi. So
You're
he's
right.
like hanging around with people that he loves and wants to like watch and stuff. But I think that there is. Oh, Mark found it. Okay. I'll
Okay.
I was gonna say that the reason Ahsoka was watching it was, I don't know about you, Coach, but I hope that either all of us or none of us are judged by the actions we take in our weakest moments, but rather for the strengths we show if and when we're ever given a second chance.
God damn it, Mark. Okay, the show's over.
That's from a person named Tano.
Tano.
That's Ahsoka's dad.
Yeah.
He's got a mustache. But it looks like the Laku on her head, but it's just on his face as a mustache.
That's funny.
But yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
Cool. Well, we solved Ahsoka.
Wait.
Yeah.
I gotta talk a little bit too.
Oh God, I don't want this.
Look, it's gonna be short, maybe. Because I think what what I am scared of, bringing in these zombie troopers, and I'm thinking with these zombie troopers, I'm thinking that Dave Filoni, because this is what he loves to do, Dave Filoni likes to take bad things about Star Wars and turn them good. Case in point, Aspen saying that Clone Wars fixed the Star Wars prequels. Great, wonderful.
I say it fixed them. It just
Fixed
made
them.
them better.
Fixed them. They're now 10 out of 10 movies. Citizen Kane, Casablanca, episode 2. Those are the top 3 for Aspen. Now, because of Clone Wars. And I'm thinking that Dave Filoni, what is creatively exciting him now is the opportunity to fix Rise of Skywalker and explain all of Rise of Skywalker. Case in point, with all of these zombie stormtroopers, we're going to go to Exegol. We're going to start explaining these things. We're going to have some Emperor stuff. I think that's what we're building to. That's what it feels like to me.
Oh, fine.
And I think it's going to fix Rise of Skywalker for Aspen.
No. I don't want it to be fixed.
Yeah. I think it's going to explain all the things that we don't like about the sequel trilogy. And it's going to become... That's Filoni's new project, I think.
Yeah. We'll see.
Which is unfortunate.
We'll see. But Ahsoka season 2 when? Or Ahsoka in whatever else they do? Or that movie that they're making?
Have they said anything yet about that?
We've got Skeleton Crew on the horizon, Mando season 4, and some crossover movie.
There is going to be the movie that I think we're all talking about that's like these are all the things coming together. And it could be partly with this.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of hope that there's before that movie that there would be more Ahsoka stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I like Mandalorian, but I don't need a season 4 of that, because that kind of feels like it ended like in a good spot for those characters to pick it up for where they do a crossover movie if they do something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree too.
Mhm.
Because now Mandalorian
Yeah.
is more the Bo-Katan story.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you could still use the name The Mandalorian, but yeah.
I do
So
want to know what happens to Grogu,
okay.
but
Little baby. Little baby.
He's got to have time to grow goo.
Cool.
He's gonna be in the other galaxy. That's
Yeah.
off screen.
So this is the part of the show where we wrap up, and I will now allow all of you to give plugs to your show. So go Andrea first, since you're the sole representative of your show, and then for Aspen and Kenny to plug their show. So Andrea.
I'm Andrea. I am from Coach Beer's book club.
2 hours in. Hi, everybody. I'm Andrea. Nice to meet everybody.
I love books. Ted Lasso, Star Wars, and Star Trek.
I like so controversial yet brave.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Is it like a book club that people can join and stuff?
No, we read the books from Ted Lasso and then talk about them, like how they relate, like what the book tells us about the show.
Oh, that's nice.
Aspen, no joke. You should listen to their episode on Johnny Tremaine, a book that I did not read, but it is such a good episode that is filled with a whole bunch of things that you will love. And I think it's like an hour and change.
Feelings? I just assumed you meant feelings.
It's queer as heck.
Oh, it's
say.
gay and feelings. That's
Yeah.
my jam. Yeah.
And then Andrea, or sorry, thank you, Andrea. And then for Aspen and Kenny.
Oh God, I'm spotlighted.
Oh, yeah,
We're from the Trek Wars Trek Wars podcast. The as Kenny likes to say, the only podcast he thinks on the internet that's going through
I'm pretty darn sure.
Star Wars,
99% sure.
Star Wars and Star Trek in chronological order and pitting them against one another because art is binary. And we have a variety of different places you can find us. I never do the end spiel, so I'm trying to like stretch and be a better person right now. You can check us out on Instagram, Trek Wars Pod. Also, TrekWarsPod.com. You could become I don't know, you could give us money if you wanted. We do cool talking stuff. I don't know. TrekWarsPod.com. We also still sometimes do the Twitter. That's Trek Wars Pod as well. So yeah. I think we're cool. We are not usually this mad at each other.
No. Also, I'm very excited for the next episode that we're putting out because we've got a Halloween episode that lined up pretty darn nicely. Which is why I'm very satisfied with sticking to chronological release order, because sometimes wonderful serendipity just happens.
Yay! It's fun.
Nice. And then for Holdo Maneuver, if you've been listening 2 hours in, that's going to do it for this episode 57. I hope you enjoyed our discussions this season of Ahsoka. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks, because now we'll need a break after all that for episode 58 for whatever that episode's going to be about, which I have no idea yet. And then you can leave us a review on the podcast after your choice. Allows you to do so. Helps us out a lot. You can find the show on social media at HoldoPod in all the places, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And then Mike and I are also on those places at our first and last names, and our editor Vactor is also those places at his last name, Vactor. And then you can email us at holdopod@gmail.com. And as always, we're grateful to George Lucas for creating the Star Wars universe.
Thank the maker. This oil bath is going to feel so good.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining. There's probably videos here that are being recommended, here, there, everywhere.